But you'd said Kirby Joseph would be reevaluated at 2 weeks. I think 2 weeks is tomorrow. What does the next steps look like for Kirby?
Well, Kirby right now, first of all, he's dealing with a personal
Detroit,
issue.
we need to talk. Because right now, as training camp rolls into its most chaotic stretch of the summer, there is a hole on that practice field where one of the best ball hawks in the entire NFL is supposed to be standing, and nobody is fully saying why. Kirby Joseph is not at practice. Not hurt in a new way, not cut, not traded, just gone, dealing with something the team is calling a personal issue. If you're a Lions fan who has spent this entire offseason riding an emotional roller coaster with this guy, buckle up, because we are not done yet. And that's not even the only fire burning in Allen Park today. An unofficial depth chart just leaked, and it is loaded with storylines, snubs, and surprises. On top of all of that, we've got real, live football on Thursday night. Preseason or not, Joe Burrow and the Bengals are coming to town. And this is your first real look at the 2026 Detroit Lions. So sit back, get comfortable, and let's unpack everything happening in Motown right now. Let's start with the story that has generated the most headlines this entire offseason. Kirby Joseph has not been seen at the Lions practice facility, and when Dan Campbell was asked about it earlier this week, he didn't dodge the question, but he didn't exactly satisfy anyone either. Campbell called it a personal issue. That's it. That's the update. And here's what makes it complicated. Joseph isn't just navigating something personal, he's also still working his way back from a knee injury that quietly wrecked his 2025 season, costing him the final stretch of games after it nagged at him going all the way back to last year's camp. This man has 20 career interceptions in 4 seasons. He's one of the most dangerous turnover-creating safeties in the league when healthy, and Detroit desperately needs those takeaways from a defense that struggled to force the ball loose a year ago. Campbell insists the rehab is coming along very well, and that Joseph remains on the same recovery runway as fellow safety Brian Branch, who's working back from a torn Achilles. But reading between the lines, it sounds like Week 1 against New Orleans could come and go without either starting safety on the field. Campbell has already called it a bonus if Joseph is ready that early. A bonus, not an expectation. That's coach speak for don't hold your breath. Whatever is going on off the field, we hope he gets through it. Whatever is going on with that knee, we hope the rehab holds, because this defense needs a healthy, locked-in Kirby Joseph creating chaos in that secondary come September. Now let's get into that depth chart, because there's a lot going on and some of it will make total sense while other parts will make you sit up straight. Wide receiver is about as locked in as it gets, with Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams up top, but the name climbing fastest is Isaac T. Slaw, who's firmly claimed a role in that top group. The offensive line is where it gets spicy. Penei Sewell has slid over to left tackle now that Taylor Decker is gone, setting off a chain reaction up front. On the right side, it's a genuine battle between rookie first-rounder Blake Miller out of Clemson and veteran Larry Borom. And through camp, Miller has been taking the bulk of first-team representatives, though Borom isn't going away quietly. At center, things got scrambled by injury. Detroit brought in Cade Mays to be the new starter, but a wrist injury is costing him time, so Juice Scruggs is stepping in to handle first-team center representatives for now. At right guard, there's no drama at all. Tate Ratledge is entrenched there. The backfield is where the real chaos is happening. Jahmyr Gibbs, your bell cow running back, has been holding in as he pushes for a new contract extension, which opened the door for Isaiah Pacheco to soak up serious first-team representatives. But it doesn't stop there, because the running back room just took a brutal hit. Sione Vaki, who was splitting time with Pacheco while Gibbs sat out the contract standoff, suffered one of the freakiest injuries you'll see in a training camp. A teammate's hand went straight through his face mask during a padded practice, poking him in the eye and breaking his nose in the same violent instant. Campbell says his vision should be fine over time, but Vaki is out for a stretch. That opens a door for Jabari Small and Jacob Saylors to make a real case for a roster spot, and it hands a return job over to Greg Dortch by default, since Vaki was his main competition there. Up at tight end, this might genuinely be the deepest, most talented room on the entire roster. Sam Laporta is your unquestioned starter, one of the best young tight ends in football, with Brock Wright right behind him and Tyler Conklin rounding out a trio most teams in this league would kill for. Quarterback got a real jolt of news this week. Teddy Bridgewater, who was expected to be Jared Goff's primary backup, has decided to retire, stepping away from the game entirely. That forced Detroit's front office to move fast, and they did, signing veteran Josh Dobbs to a 1-year deal worth just over $1.4 million. Dobbs, nicknamed the Pastronaut for his background in aerospace engineering, has bounced around the league for nearly a decade and actually has a small piece of Lions history already, having spent a short stint on this very practice squad years back. He's only been with the team a couple of days, so don't expect much from him Thursday. That means the real audition belongs to undrafted rookie Luke Altmaier out of Illinois, who's set for a heavy workload and a great chance to show this coaching staff what has got his QB2 heading into final roster cuts. Flipping to defense, Aiden Hutchinson and Derek Moore anchor the edge, while Alim McNeil and Tariq Williams headline the interior, with veteran DJ One-Num providing depth. Keep an eye on Ahmed Hassan, a young pass rusher putting together a camp that has scouts buzzing, with one respected draft analyst comparing his traits to a healthy version of Marcus Davenport. At linebacker, it's steady with Jack Campbell, Derek Barnes, Malcolm Rodriguez, and Devin White holding their spots, though Mackie Wingo is starting to slide and needs a big preseason showing. At cornerback, DJ Reed and Rock Yasin are your starters, with Roger McCreary working in at nickel, though Ennis Rakestraw and Christian Isian are both names to track there. And at safety, without Joseph and Branch on the field, Chuck Clark and Avant Maddox are your projected Week 1 starters, while Thomas Harper, Lauren Strickland, and second-year man Dan Jackson compete for representatives further down the chart. Which brings us to Thursday. Real football, even if it's preseason, even if the starters won't play deep into the game. The Bengals are coming to Detroit, and Joe Burrow is expected to get a series or two in before giving way to the rest of Cincinnati's roster. This is the moment where Blake Miller gets to prove the starting job is his, where Luke Altmaier gets to show he belongs on this roster, and where every single bubble player gets to go out against a first-string defense and make the kind of play that gets them a spot on this football team. So if you're a Lions fan, get excited, because for the first time since January, you get to actually watch meaningful representatives of Detroit Lions football. Here's the question for you today, Lions fans, and I want a real answer in the comments below. With Gibbs holding in, Varkey banged up, and Pacheco getting all these first-team representatives, are you comfortable with this running back room heading into Thursday, or are you nervous? Let me know down below. And hey, before you go, we are working to hit 1,000 subscribers here on Detroit Scope. So if you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, drop your predictions for Thursday night, and make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on, because we're covering this preseason opener the moment the final whistle blows. Detroit Scope, we'll see you next time.